Good day. Let us discuss behavioral theories of Thorndike and Bandura. So sa Thorndike laws of learning, ang ibang terminologies dito ay or terminology dito ay ang connectionism, no? And during the term or contribution ni Thorndike, tatlo ang kanyang binigay na input. Ito yung law of effect, law of exercise, law of readiness. And then may mga sumunod sa kanyang uh, pinropose or introduce. Ito na yung law of primacy, recency, intensity, and freedom. So when we say loss of effect, no, learning is strengthened when accompanied by a pleasant and satisfying feeling. May kinalalaman dun kay operant conditioning ni Skinner, no? And weakened by unpleasant feeling. So, mas mabibigyan natin ng effective na learning ang ating mga bata kung merong token, halimbawa. Pero we need to process this at the end of the day or school year na hindi lamang na meron tayo sa token or stamp, no? Kasi sa law of effect, meron tayo, yung learners natin, they are after with satisfaction and pleasure. Law of exercise. Learn is most remembered when repeated. The reason why we're having review kapag kami exam, notes, no? O kaya ay inuulit-ulit yung concept. Pag sinabi ko halimbawa behavior, emotion, thoughts, and actions or beta sa ibang discussion, sasabihin ko ulit yung beta hanggang sa maging familiar tayo doon. Lagi kong babanggitin yung multiple intelligences sa next meeting at sa mga succeeding meetings, mababanggit ko ulit yung multiple intelligences, matagal siya, tumatagal siya sa retention. No? Law of readiness. No? Individuals learn best when they are physically, mentally, and emotionally ready to learn. You may consider yung environment, no? Yung physiological needs, gutom ba sila, busog. Emotionally, they are not broken, they are okay with their families, with their friends, hindi sila naka-experience ng bullying, no? So they are ready to learn, no? Another is law of primacy. Things learned first create a strong impression. It must be right the first time. It is difficult to unlearn or change an incorrect learned material. What appears most or first, yun yung long lasting, no? Kaya kapag nagkamali ang teacher sa approach niya, sa formula or teach, no? Or sa pagtuturo, ay mahirap siyang i-unlearn, no? It takes a lot of time, introduce niya ulit hanggang sa makorek yung maling na ituro, no? So, talagang pinaghahandaan siya, pinagpaplanuhan, kaya tayo may specialization dahil dun alam natin yung tinuturo natin, no? Law of recency, things most recently learned are best remembered. Okay, last meeting, ito yung diniscuss natin. So, naalala pa kay Habigur Soundtrack. Last meeting, diniscuss natin yung kay Freud. Naalala pa natin yung kay Freud, no? Yung ego, id, super ego. Last meeting, we discussed Burns transaction analysis. O, naalala natin yung parents, adult, and child ego. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na review of the previous discussion. Bukod sa meron dong law of exercise, nandun din yung law of recency, no? Law of intensity. The more exciting and engaging the information is, the more likely the person will remember it. The reason why we usually read learning objectives before the discussion, we post problems, social issues, or questionable statement, or trending issues, no, that will leave the learners into that excitement to gain the answer, to receive the answer during the discussion or the end of the discussion. And law of freedom. The greater the freedom enjoyed by the individual, the greater the intellectual advancement enjoyed by them. It means the reason why ang ating learning objectives ay the learner will be able to, hindi the learner should be able to, or the learner must be able to. There's a freedom, there's a personal choice coming from the learner if he or she is willing to learn. Kahit gaano karami tayong preparation sa teaching, kung ang learner ay hindi ready to learn, no? Yun ay personal decision niya, no? Pagdating kay Bandura's social cognitive, no? Bandura moves away from conditioning theories ni Pavlov and Skinner. For him, individuals are Learning through observation, imitation, and modeling play. Learning does not always lead to change. Sometimes we learn, but we do not change our behavior. No? So while the behavioral theories of learning suggested that all learning was a result of associations formed by conditioning, reinforcement, punishment, Bandura's social learning theory proposed that learning can also occur simply by observing the actions of others. Hindi marunong gumamit ng chopstick, nag-observe sa paligid. Inaral kung paano gumamit ng chopstick. Another, the children in Bandura's study observed an adult acting violently when a bobodal, no, toward a bobodal. When the children were later allowed to play in a room with a bobodal, they began to imitate the aggressive actions of the adult, no, na na-observe dun sa bobodal, no. So naging controversial siya actually dahil yung bata in-expose dun sa violent attack ng adult sa bobodal, and then nung yung bata na yung pumasok sa room, ganun din yung ginawa niya sa bobodal, no. So, what you see, no, sa TV, Netflix, games, usually yun din yung tendencies natin na experience or mangyayari. Some critics argue that the study itself was unethical, no? By manipulating the children into behaving aggressively, they argue the experimenters were essentially teaching the children to be aggressive, no? So, 'yan nakikita natin na yung role ng environment kaya siya behavioral. Binibigyan ng kahalagahan yung nangyayari at nag-observe sa paligid at later ito yung ginagawa ng bata. Gaya nga nasabi sa Filipino adage, kung anong nakikita ng bata sa matanda, kahit mali, sa mata ng bata, nagiging tama. Kaya tayo dapat ay maingat sa mga ginagawa natin, lalo na sa mga teachers, no? Dahil pag tayo ay nasa basic ed, or kahit man sa college dahil may role modeling na nangyayari.